stare at my phone screen, watching the little blue dot pulse steadily on our street. According to the GPS tracker I'd installed on Mark's phone 3 days ago, with his knowledge, he'd insisted on it after I mentioned feeling anxious about his late nights. My husband is at work. His location shows the office building downtown, where he's been putting in 70-hour weeks for the past 2 months. Except I'm standing in that office building right now. And Mark isn't here. I showed up with lunch, his favorite Italian sub from Marino's on 5th Street, thinking I'd surprise him. His assistant, Jennifer, looked genuinely confused when I asked if he was in his office. "He called in sick today," she said, tilting her head. "Said he had food poisoning. Didn't he tell you?" My hands are shaking as I pull up the GPS again. The blue dot hasn't moved. According to this app, Mark is right here. But according to Jennifer's calendar and the dark, empty office I can see through the glass door, he hasn't been here all day. I thank Jennifer and walk back to my car in a daze. The October air feels too thin. I sit behind the wheel and zoom out on the map, trying to understand what I'm seeing. The pin shows his location as... I squint at the screen. That's not the office address. That's our address. That's our bedroom. My stomach drops. I refresh the app. The dot stays exactly where it is, pulsing in the room where I slept last night, where Mark kissed me goodbye this morning at 6:47 a.m. before heading to work. I check the timestamp. Updated 3 minutes ago. His phone is in our bedroom, but Mark called in sick from somewhere. And if his phone is there, who else is? I start the car. My hands grip the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles go white. I live 23 minutes from downtown. I make it home in 16. Our house looks exactly as it should. The small Craftsman we bought 3 years ago sits quietly on Maple Street, its blue-gray siding and white trim radiating suburban normalcy. Mark's Lexus isn't in the driveway, which means nothing. He could have parked around the corner, or someone else could have picked him up. I installed security cameras last month, another thing Mark had encouraged after the break-ins on Elm Street. "We should be able to check on the house anytime," he'd said. I'd mounted one in the living room, one at the front door, and one in the bedroom. That last one angled toward the window after I mentioned worrying about someone breaking in while we slept. Now I sit in my car, phone trembling in my hands, and pull up the camera feed. The bedroom camera shows our bed in perfect clarity. The gray comforter is rumpled on one side, Mark's side, and smooth on mine. I'd made my side this morning. I always do, and there on the rumpled side are 2 people. The woman is blonde, thin, younger than me. She's wearing one of Mark's t-shirts, the vintage Radiohead one I bought him for his birthday. She's laughing at something, her head thrown back. I can't see the man's face. His back is to the camera, but I know that back. I've traced those shoulders countless times. I bought the gray Henley he's wearing for our anniversary last month. I watch my husband lean down and kiss this woman in our bed, in the bed where I sleep every night, where I slept last night while he was supposedly at the office until 2 a.m. My breath comes in short gasps. The phone is slippery in my sweating palms. I want to storm inside. I want to scream. But something stops me. I screenshot the camera feed. Then I screen record a full 2 minutes of footage. I check the GPS again. His phone is definitely inside. I save that screenshot too, with the timestamp clearly visible. Then I drive away. I park 3 blocks over, behind the library where my car isn't visible from our street. My hands are still shaking. My mind races through the past 2 months, the late nights, the weekend emergency meetings, the business trip to Seattle that got extended by 3 days, the new cologne I noticed last week that he claimed was a gift from a client, the way he'd encouraged me to install the GPS tracker. "So you won't worry," he'd said. The way he'd encouraged the security cameras. "For peace of mind," he'd said. He wanted me to see him at work on the GPS. He never imagined I'd check the cameras and find his phone in our bedroom while he was supposedly downtown. He never imagined I'd show up at his office. I think about our life. Mark is a financial consultant. I'm a paralegal at Morrison & Associates. We've been married for 5 years, together for 8. We were trying for a baby until 6 months ago, when Mark said he wanted to wait until his career stabilized. I'd been disappointed but understanding. He worked so hard, or so I thought. My phone buzzes. A text from Mark. "Working through lunch. Don't wait up tonight, big presentation tomorrow." I stare at the message. He texted me 30 minutes ago, while he was in our bed with her. while his phone sat on the nightstand, pulsing its location to my tracking app. He has 2 phones. The realization hits me like cold water. He has his work phone, the one I'm tracking, and another phone. That's how he's been texting me. That's how he's been calling in sick, taking calls, maintaining his double life. I think about the credit card bills. Mark handles our finances. "You work so hard," he always says. "Let me take care of the boring money stuff." I'd been grateful. I trusted him. What else have I missed? I sit in the parking lot for 3 hours, researching divorce lawyers on my phone. I download a call recording app. I create a new email account and forward all the photos and videos I've taken to it, just in case. I document everything. The time I arrived at his office, Jennifer's exact words, the GPS location, the camera footage. At 5:47 p.m., I get another text. "Heading home soon. Want me to grab dinner?" I respond, "That would be great. Long day here too." I watch the camera feed as they scramble out of bed. She pulls on jeans and a jacket. He kisses her at the bedroom door. She leaves through the back, cutting through the Robinsons' yard next door. He strips the bed, carries the sheets to the laundry room. He remakes the bed with fresh sheets from the linen closet. He showers. He dresses in the suit he keeps in the guest room closet. I'd never thought to look there. He grabs his phone from the nightstand, checks it, frowns. He texts someone on his other phone. Then he leaves through the front door and drives away. I wait 15 minutes and go home. The house smells like his cologne and something else. Her perfume. Something floral and young. The bedroom looks pristine. The bed is perfectly made. If I hadn't seen the camera footage, I'd never know. But I do know. And now I have to decide what to do with that knowledge. Mark arrives 40 minutes later with Thai food from our favorite place on Morrison Avenue. He kisses my cheek. He looks tired, rumpled, exactly like someone who's been working all day. He's so convincing. How many times has he done this? "How was your day?" he asks. I smile. "Quiet. How was yours?" "Exhausting. This merger is killing me." He loosens his tie, a tie he put on 15 minutes ago in our guest room. "I'll be glad when it's over." We eat dinner. We watch Netflix. We go to bed. He falls asleep beside me, breathing steadily, peacefully, like he has nothing to hide. I lie awake, staring at the ceiling and plan. The next morning, I call in sick to work. As soon as Mark leaves, "Big presentation today, remember?" I start going through the house systematically. I find his other phone in the guest room closet, hidden in a shoebox behind his winter boots. It's password protected, but I know Mark. I try our anniversary. Nothing. I try his birthday. Nothing. I try his mother's birthday. It unlocks. The messages make me sick. Dozens of women. Some conversations going back years. Dick pics, explicit photos, arrangements for hotel rooms. And her. The blonde from yesterday. Her name is Sienna. She's 24. She's a yoga instructor. They've been seeing each other for 5 months. According to their messages, she doesn't know about me. He told her he's divorced. They're looking at apartments together. He's planning to move in with her next month. I photograph everything. Every message. Every photo. Every promise he made to her that mirrors promises he made to me. Then I dig deeper. I find his laptop in his home office. The password is the same. His email is a goldmine. Hotel receipts. Venmo payments to women. A lease agreement for an apartment on the north side that he signed 2 weeks ago. First and last month's rent. Paid from our joint savings account under the description, "Business expense reimbursement." I photograph it all. I check our bank accounts. Our joint savings is nearly empty. The $47,000 we'd saved for a down payment on a bigger house is down to $8,000. He's been siphoning money for months. Rent payments, gifts, dinners I never ate. I sit on the floor of his office and cry. Not because I'm sad, I'm past sad, but because I'm so angry I can barely breathe. This man I loved, this man I trusted, this man I was going to have children with. But crying won't help. Evidence will. I call a locksmith and have the locks changed. I call Marissa Chen, the toughest divorce attorney in the city. I send her everything I've found. She calls me back in 2 hours. "This is good," she says. Her voice is crisp, efficient. "This is very good. Don't confront him. Don't tell him you know. Let him think everything is normal. Can you do that?" "Yes." "Good. I'll file the papers. We'll serve him at work. Maximum impact. And with this evidence, we'll get you everything. The house, the savings he hasn't stolen yet, alimony, and he'll be responsible for your legal fees. When? How about Monday? Give me 3 days to prepare. Today is Thursday. 3 more days of pretending. 3 more days of lying next to him while he lies to me. Monday, I agree. That night, Mark comes home at 11 p.m. The presentation went great, he says. He's giddy, energized. I think we really nailed it. I imagine him in bed with Sienna. I imagine him planning his escape, counting down the days until he moves into his new apartment and leaves me with nothing. I'm so proud of you, I say. He kisses me. I taste lies on his lips. Friday and Saturday pass in a blur. I smile. I laugh at his jokes. I cook dinner. I pretend everything is fine while I quietly move my most important possessions to my mother's house in Sherman Oaks. My grandmother's jewelry. Photo albums. Important documents. Anything I can't replace. On Sunday, I suggest we have a nice dinner at home. One last quiet night before your crazy work week, I say. He agrees. I make his favorite. Chicken parmesan, garlic bread, Caesar salad. We eat on the patio as the sun sets. October in California is beautiful. The air smells like jasmine and smoke from someone's fireplace. I love you, Mark says suddenly. He reaches across the table and takes my hand. I look at him. Really look at him. I try to see what I fell in love with 8 years ago. The charming consultant I met at a conference. The man who brought me coffee every morning for a month straight. The man who proposed on the beach at sunset with a ring he'd saved for 6 months to buy. That man is gone. Maybe he never existed. I love you too, I say. It's the last lie I'll tell him. Monday morning, I leave for work at my normal time. Mark is still asleep. I drive to my mother's house instead and wait. At 10:47 a.m., Marissa texts me. Paper served. He looks shocked. At 11:03 a.m., Mark calls. I don't answer. He calls again. And again. He leaves voicemails. His voice progresses from confused to angry to desperate. What the fuck is this? You can't just serve me divorce papers at work. This is insane. Call me back. Baby, please. Let's talk about this. Whatever's wrong, we can fix it. I don't call back. At 2:15 p.m., Marissa calls. He showed up at my office with his lawyer. They want to negotiate. What are they offering? 50-50 split of remaining assets. No alimony, I laugh. It sounds harsh even to my own ears. No, that's what I told them. I showed them the evidence. The photos, the messages, the financial records. His lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. And they're asking for time to regroup. But we have him. He knows it. Good. That evening, Mark shows up at the house. I've been expecting this. I watch him from the window as he tries his key. It doesn't work. He tries again, jiggling it, confused. Then he starts pounding on the door. Open the fucking door! This is my house. I call the police. He's still yelling when they arrive. I show them the restraining order Marissa filed this afternoon. They escort him away. He's screaming that I'm crazy, that this is all a misunderstanding, that I can't do this. I can. I am. The next 3 months are brutal. Mark fights everything. He claims the evidence is fabricated. He says I hacked his phone. He paints himself as the victim of a paranoid, controlling wife. But evidence doesn't lie. Marissa presents everything in court. The GPS records showing his phone at home while he called in sick. The security footage of him with Sienna in our bed. The messages from his phone, authenticated by a digital forensics expert. The financial records showing him draining our savings. The lease for the apartment he planned to move into. His lawyer tries to argue that his affairs don't matter in a no-fault divorce state. Marissa counters that financial infidelity and fraud absolutely matter. She shows how he systematically stole from our joint accounts, how he lied about business expenses, how he planned to leave me with nothing. The judge is a woman in her 60s with steel gray hair and no patience for bullshit. She looks at Mark like he's something she scraped off her shoe. In the end, I get the house. I get what's left of the savings plus half of his 401k. I get alimony for 3 years while I finish the law degree I postponed when we got married. He pays my legal fees. Sienna dumps him when she finds out he was married. Apparently, she has standards. The other women fade away when they realize he's broke and exposed. His firm lets him go quietly. Turns out using company credit cards for personal hotel rooms is frowned upon. I hear through mutual friends that he's living in a studio, apartment in Van Nuys and working as a junior analyst for half his previous salary. His new girlfriend is 47 and has 3 kids. He looks tired all the time. Good. It's been 18 months now. I'm in my 2nd year of law school at UCLA. I'm clerking for a judge on the weekends. I'm dating a kind, honest man who's a public defender. Nothing serious yet, but he makes me laugh, and he's never once lied about where he is. I sold the house. Too many bad memories. I have a small condo in Culver City with big windows and a view of the city. I wake up every morning in a bed that's just mine, wrapped in sheets that no one else has touched, and I feel free. Sometimes I think about that moment in the car, staring at my phone, watching the GPS place Mark at work while he was actually in our bed. That moment when my entire reality shifted. I'm grateful for it. Not for the betrayal, not for the lies, but for the clarity, for the proof, for the ability to stop gagging on my own denial and see the truth clearly. Mark thought he was so clever. The GPS tracker so I wouldn't worry. The security cameras for peace of mind. He thought he was covering his tracks. Instead, he gave me exactly what I needed to bury him. People ask me sometimes how I stayed so calm, how I didn't confront him immediately, how I planned so carefully while my world was falling apart. The answer is simple. I was a paralegal. I'd seen dozens of divorce cases. I knew that emotions lose in court. Evidence wins. Proof wins. Documentation wins. So I documented everything. I proved everything. And I won. There's a quote I think about often now. Living well is the best revenge. I used to think that was passive, weak. Now I understand it differently. Living well isn't about making someone else suffer. It's about refusing to let their actions define your story. It's about taking the wreckage they left behind and building something better, something true. Mark tried to steal my money, my home, and my future. He tried to gaslight me into believing his lies while he planned his escape. But he underestimated me. He saw a trusting wife and assumed that meant stupid. He saw patience and mistook it for weakness. He was wrong. I'm finishing my law degree. I'm building a career helping other people fight for themselves. I'm choosing partners who value honesty over convenience. I'm living in a home I chose, decorated the way I want, filled with only the things and people that make me happy. And Mark is exactly where he put himself. Some people might say I should forgive him, that holding on to anger is toxic, that I should let go and move on. I have moved on. I've moved on to a better life, better choices, better people. I don't waste energy hating Mark. I don't think about him at all most days. But forgiveness? That's for people who are sorry. Mark isn't sorry he cheated. He's sorry he got caught. He's sorry he lost his comfortable life. He's sorry his plan failed. That's not the same thing. So I don't forgive him. But I also don't let him live rent-free in my head. He's a lesson learned, a cautionary tale. The worst thing that happened to me that eventually led to the best thing. Finding out who I really am when everything else is stripped away. Turns out I'm pretty strong. I'm smarter than I thought. I'm capable of rebuilding from nothing. I'm worth more than I ever demanded. Mark taught me that, though not in the way he intended. Now, when I see that little blue dot on a GPS, I don't feel anxiety or trust. I feel nothing. It's just data. And data only matters if you know how to use it. I learned how to use it very well. 3 months ago, I ran into Jennifer at a coffee shop near the courthouse. Mark's former assistant. She recognized me and hesitated, clearly unsure whether to say hello. I smiled and waved her over. "I'm sorry about everything," she said, sitting down. I had no idea what was happening. "I feel terrible that I didn't realize." "It's not your fault," I told her. "You told me the truth when it mattered. That's what counts." She looked relieved. We talked for 20 minutes. She has a new job, a better boss. She's engaged to a woman who treats her well. Before she left, she said something I think about often. "You know, I always thought you and Mark were the perfect couple. You seemed so happy. It scared me when I found out the truth. Like, if you couldn't see it, how would I ever see it in my own life?" I understood what she meant. The fear that we're all walking around blind, missing obvious signs, trusting people who don't deserve it. "You see it when you're ready to see it," I told her. "And when you do, you act. That's all you can do." She nodded. We hugged. She went back to her life, and I went back to mine, but her words stayed with me. About seeming happy. About the perfect couple. We did seem happy. In the photos from those years, I'm smiling. Mark's arm is around me. We're at beaches, restaurants, parties. We look like people in love, and maybe I was in love. But I was in love with a person who didn't exist. A character Mark played. A role he performed. The real Mark was someone who could kiss me goodbye in the morning and bring another woman to our bed an hour later. The real Mark could look me in the eyes and lie without flinching. The real Mark could steal our future one transaction at a time and sleep peacefully beside me every night. I don't mourn losing him. I mourn the time I wasted on an illusion. But even that grief has value. It taught me to trust my instincts, to investigate when something feels wrong, to prioritize evidence over hope. Now, in my law classes, when we discuss evidence and burden of proof, I understand it differently than my classmates. They see it as abstract legal concepts. I see it as survival. Evidence saved me. Documentation saved me. Having proof of the truth saved me from drowning in his lies. And that's what I want to do with my career. Help people who are drowning. Give them the tools to save themselves. Last week, I shadowed the judge I clerk for in a divorce case. The wife was crying, saying her husband had an affair but she couldn't prove it. He'd been careful. No paper trail, no photos, just her gut feeling and some suspicious behavior. The judge ruled in his favor on custody. No evidence of unfitness, he said. We can't make decisions based on feelings. I wanted to scream. But he was right. Legally, he was right. After court, I caught up with the woman in the hallway. Install security cameras, I told her quietly. Check your financial accounts. Document everything. Every time he says he's working late, verify it. Every unexplained charge, photograph it. Build your case. She looked at me with such hope and gratitude that I almost cried. Don't confront him, I continued. Don't give him a chance to hide the evidence. Just watch, document, and when you have enough, call a good lawyer. She thanked me. I don't know if she'll follow through. I hope she does, because here's what I learned. You can't fight shadows. You can't win against suspicions. But you can win with proof. Mark thought he was untouchable. He thought his charm and his lies would be enough. He thought I'd never figure it out, or that if I did, I'd be too devastated to fight back. He gave me the tools to destroy him, and thought I was too naive to use them. That was his biggest mistake. The GPS tracker was supposed to make me feel secure. Instead, it revealed his lies. The security cameras were supposed to protect us from outsiders. Instead, they caught him betraying me in our own home. His encouragement to trust him, to let him handle the finances, to not worry about his long hours. All of it was meant to keep me compliant and blind. Instead, it made me vigilant. There's a certain poetry to it, I suppose. Destroyed by his own weapons, buried by his own shovel. I didn't have to be cruel. I didn't have to manipulate. I just had to pay attention and document what I found. The truth did the rest. Sometimes late at night, when I'm studying for exams or writing briefs, I think about other versions of this story. The version where I never checked the GPS that day, where I just called Mark, and he made up an excuse, and I believed him. Where I went on trusting him until the day he sat me down and said he was leaving, that he'd found someone else, that he was taking half of everything because that's fair. In that version, I would have been blindsided, destroyed, left with nothing and no way to fight back. But that's not what happened. What happened is I trusted my instincts. I investigated. I gathered evidence. I protected myself. And when the moment came to stand up for myself, I had everything I needed. That's the story I tell myself now. Not the story of betrayal and lies, but the story of a woman who refused to be a victim, who used her pain as fuel, who transformed trauma into power. Some days that story is enough. Some days I still get angry. I still wonder how he lived with himself. I still imagine confronting him, screaming at him, making him feel even a fraction of the humiliation he put me through. But then I remember. I don't need to make him feel anything. His life is the consequence he earned. My life is the victory I built. And between the two, I know which one I'd rather have. So when people ask me how I'm doing now, I tell them the truth. I'm better than okay. I'm building something real, a career that matters, relationships based on honesty, a life that's entirely my own. Mark is a footnote in that story, a cautionary tale. The obstacle I overcame. He's not the main character anymore. I am. And my story is just beginning.